Hey, Merry Christmas, everybody. It's Matthew back in the game room with another episode of Watty's channel. Obviously, guys, I'm not going to be posting this today, Christmas Day. More than likely, I do have a few videos already in queue, so you'll probably see this video sometime maybe in the first week of January, most likely. So, right after I did my first LJN tournament, I thought about doing this particular tournament, but then I decided to do like a top 10 favorite, top 10 least favorite, and that kind of omitted this tournament. Now, after the completion of the second LJN tournament, I did get a response from one of my viewers, and Fox Fury, he asked for a Hasbro tournament, and I'm like, heck yeah. I always say, you guys, if you have any ideas of what you would like to see, I'm all for making videos for the viewers. That's who I do these videos for. Obviously I get a lot of enjoyment from making them, but it's no fun if I don't get to experience these type of figures, type of videos with other people, and kind of get their feedback and obviously learn from them as well. So I want to be my own content maker. So normally, if you see these type of videos, you're always going to see basically originality only. Me, I like to be different. I like to include all my customs along with my original figures. And that's normally because I want to give appreciation and shout out to the different sellers, different customizers of these spectacular figures. And, some of them might be one of a kind. And if that's the case, they're not going to do any good just for my personal enjoyment. Put it out there. Let other people get to see the different color schemes and paint jobs on these amazing figures. So, I'm not going to do these videos straight through. Meaning, if it takes 20 videos to make the Hasbro tournament, you're not going to see the next 20 episodes be all Hasbro tournament. I am going to slot other videos in between, these particular videos. Now, come 2023, I might switch things up. Meaning, if I make a video today, I'm probably going to post it today. If I make 5 videos today, I may not post 5 videos today, but I will post, one video day after day, as opposed to waiting every 3 days. I mentioned in a previous video that 2023 is also going to change for me because I'm not steering clear of collectibles. I'm not steering clear of, wrestling and whatnot. Obviously, that's the basis or the foundation for the most part of this channel, but I will try to incorporate other content, other comments, something that's going to bring discussion to the channel. I'm definitely trying to get my wife to come down here and make some videos with me with different things that come up, that's popular today to talk about, or hot topics or whatnot. I'm hoping I can persuade her one day. I think that'll be a lot of fun. I could talk about some of the more popular or important things, and of course she could bring the humor aspect of it. She's definitely a lot better at me than that. So, I will dive right in with the first competition. So, Series 1 Hasbro it's good because you've got 12 figures for 12 even matchups. Issue is, I've got a gazillion friggin' customs for so many of these figures, so I think if I get to around 25-30 minutes and I'm only like 6 or 7 figures in, I might have to stop the video because, again, I don't want to push these videos to 40-50 minutes. Obviously I'm trying to be leery of the viewer's time. Or I could just sit there and try and rush through the last remaining, but I don't want to do that either. But the first figure, and these figures are all encased, so it will take me a few seconds here or there to unbox them per se before I get into the actual display. These little 4-inch pieces of plastic are just some of the most remarkable pieces. Obviously, I had Hasbro as a kid, so obviously they mean a ton to me. Just saying 30 years later, what these things are valued at is absolutely incredible. Now, this isn't quite mint, but I mean, this is about as mint of a figure as I've seen. And this is not part of my primary display. These little sidewall over here, I keep a lot of extras, and I want to keep them separated. And of course, what I start doing up here is kind of create extra figures with accessories, and then some of the more valuable ones as they go down. And of course, over there, as you know, I got a whole entire ring full of all the figures with accessories. So I love the $1 Million Man. I mean, one of my favorite bad guys back in the day. And you know, you always kind of think of him kind of like as the man in the corner. Not necessarily a manager type, even though later on when he got injured, he did have to resort to strictly managerial duties. But when this uniform comes off, when this tuxedo comes off, the man is one of the best wrestlers, you know, of the generation. And at one point, I think he was like maybe the 1990-91 Royal Rumble, held the title for, you know, the longest tenure inside the Rumble match. I think it was like 50 plus minutes or something. And I think Rick Martel came back next year and topped it by almost an hour, or came in at almost an hour. Good looking figure. Among the $1 Million Man figures, not one of my favorites though. It's probably my third favorite among the three original figures. I never had this figure as a kid, so it doesn't really mean that much to me per se, as based on childhood or nostalgic reasons. The first custom I'm going to look at comes from Robert Jackson, and right off the bat, this one already obliterates the original figure. So we already know original $1 Million Man is out of this tournament, and the first custom that is, has taken over to move in place to move on to round 2. So I got a couple of different Robert Jackson figures, so there's a good opportunity this one gets bumped as well. I like this one a lot because it kind of reminds me of the custom LJN $1 Million Man from Wrestling Rider. Pretty much same color scheme for the most part. Just an absolutely gorgeous piece. So well done as far as, you know, coloring, and, you know, when you look at it, there's no paint bleed or anything like that. He just did a remarkable job. Absolutely love the figure. The next one from Robert Jackson, and I think I have this one listed as probably my all-time favorite version, custom or original. I just really love the gold on the uniform, on the tuxedo. You know, the gold with the black t-shirt really meshes really well. The only downside, if I had to give one, is that the bow tie is also black, so it really cuts into the color scheme of the black dress shirt. Now, if the bow tie was like red or white or something, you know, kind of offset, even gold as well, you know, that would have been a little bit better, I think. But overall, this is an absolute beauty. And like I said, among the Robert Jackson figures that I've acquired from him, not even a $1 Million Man, just pretty much any of the customs, this is one of my top 5, if not a top 2, top 3 figure. I don't know, I've never actually sat there and said, hey, I like this one most among his figures, but that would just be my guess, just kind of looking at it. So this one, right now, I'm bumping the white tuxedo $1 Million Man and pushing that gold one forward. This one comes from a man named Derek. I'm trying to remember his screen name, because there's like 2 or 3 different Dereks that I buy from on eBay. It's been a while since I purchased this last one, so I'm trying to think back. It'll come to me eventually. So Derek, on eBay, I bought this one, and everything about this is absolute fantastic. I really love the color of the suit. Kind of like a silver, more of like a purple gray mesh, which I really like. And of course, you got the purple on the shirt and the t-shirt and whatnot. Just an absolute beauty. Because this is more, even though, again, when you look at $1 Million Man customs that I've got from LJNs, you always see like white on gold, or you see kind of like a black and purple, or, you know, gray and purple type of deal. So I think this would most closely resemble the original. And for reference, one of the customs that I got for LJN is this exact same outfit, which is absolutely fantastic. I think it would have been super cool if they did put the little $1 Million, the money sign, the money sign on the back of his suit. But I mean, again, they're basically keeping the figure to its original point, which is great. As much as I love the Robert Jackson figures, and really any one of these figures could bump forward, but once again, I am pushing the last custom forward to round 2. And again, I'll find Derek's contact info. And I bought a ton from him, a lot of customs, and I'm surprised I can't remember his name off the top of my head. And I think I did a specialty shout-out video for him as well, so, you know, that's kind of embarrassing that I can't remember his screen name. But those are the $1 Million Man figures. The next one we're looking at is going to be Jake Roberts. So, I did put this figure on my list of one of my least favorite figures. Now, with Jake Roberts, there's absolutely nothing wrong with this figure. This is an absolute beauty. And I kind of said it about a lot of the Hasbros that I put on my least favorite list. Mostly, I put it on my list because I had to choose somebody, and there are just so many other figures that I enjoyed so much more. I do believe that Jake Roberts has one of the best boot designs of any of the action figures from the line. So there's a lot of positives from this. I remember Jake Roberts very fondly. You know, one of my favorites as a kid. This arm punching motion, I think, is one of the reasons why I rate him a little bit lower than so many other figures. You know, I'm not a fan of that, but, you know, it works. It's a beauty nonetheless. And this actually is a figure I did have as a kid. And, you know, like I said, this is probably one of the most used action figures I've ever had. Like so many kids, we never have the accessories. Like, I can never, for the life of me, ever remember any of my action figures as a kid coming with accessories. What happened to them? You know, they probably tore out of the box. I mean, we moved a lot during my early childhood, so I probably lived in about 4 different apartments between ages, you know, up until age 7, age 8, when we moved into the family house, you know, which I lived in until I graduated high school at 19. So, again, but, you know, Jake Roberts, gorgeous piece. Not one of my favorites, but again, that's more out of necessity of finding a figure to put on your list of, you know, least favorites. This figure here, I want to say that this came from Derek as well, the same one that did the gray suit $1 Million Man. I actually found this same figure online for LJN, and I really wanted it. I put an offer for the seller, and I think he told me he was going to accept it, but again, he didn't have that option for buy it now, or to make an offer. So I never heard back from him, and I'm like, okay. So I just decided to, you know, save my money and use the money for the purchases. But this one from Derek, one of the most gorgeous pieces you'll ever find. I absolutely love this one. For everything on the design of this figure, and you even see these little snake heads, trying to give you up close and personal on the side of his pants. And what I really enjoy about this is that he does keep a majority of the figure, well, not majority, but he does keep a portion of the figure intact by keeping the boots as they are. And I thought that was really special. So that really, you know, meant a lot as well as a collector. You didn't have to change up every single thing about this. I think there's some kind of Mattel Elite figure with this particular design, which I thought was pretty special. I'm not exactly a big Elite. As you can see, it's pretty much right here is all my Elite figures. So I'm not a big Elite collector or anything like that. I just bought some just to say I had it. I had a few. Right now, this is probably a top line figure, not only for the Jake Roberts, but for the entire competition. And I know we're only essentially 2 figures per se, $1 Million Man and Jake Robertson, but I honestly believe this one's going to go very far. Finalists, semi-finalists, somewhere in that zone, maybe not, but I mean, possibly. I guess we will find out. I do have 3 more customs of Jake Roberts. I get this back in the bubble here. They all come from Robert Jackson. The first one is like, I don't know what kind of design this is. I don't remember him wearing this particular colors, which again is perfectly fine. You know, sometimes you really appreciate, you know, different customs when they're clothing that a wrestler actually wore in the ring. But it doesn't have to be. I mean, this is just an absolute gorgeous camouflage design. And you know what? Kind of looking at it, they actually look like actual reptilian or, you know, snake skin on his pants. That is so cool. I don't know if I caught that before. Even like in the little spots, like right here, and I think here's another one. Like the snake shed its skin, and that's kind of like what the design of the pants are. That is remarkable. Like I said, I don't think I caught that before, and that's why I really love taking these figures out and looking at them, because you'll find things, you'll learn things about different figures that you didn't really notice, you know, first time around. You know, it could have been 10 years later, the first time I ever noticed that. So I pretty much keep them in these little bubbles, these little plastic cases, protective cases, that I hang them up. And every time I come downstairs, you know, I get the opportunity to kind of look over at what I classify as Robert Jackson Alley. Has all of his custom figures in that particular location. I always get a great enjoyment from him. And he's got this really amazing snake accessory. Obviously far different, you know, color-wise from the original, but again, it's a custom, and it fits, and it's beautiful. I'm not quite ready to say which one I like better. I do believe, obviously, the Black Pants version removed the original from this competition, but between these two, the two customs so far, I'm not ready to make a choice just yet. So here is another camouflage version of Jake Roberts. This is kind of more of like a woodland camouflage version, which is really spectacular. And I like the little green rims around the top of the pants, as well as, you know, you'll find them periodically throughout the pants themselves. And I don't know if that's a decal or if that's painted on or how he did that, but that is so remarkable. I mean, look at that. This is just an absolute beauty. Sorry if I gotta kind of lean in to the camera, but I'm just trying to put the figure up there, but sometimes you gotta lean in as well. Make sure you're getting the right point of view for the figure. So I'm wondering, I know I sent him, I sent him a message. I'm like, hey, I like this figure. I missed out on it on auction. Is it possible to get one remade in that likeness? I don't know if it was the gray one or if it was this. You know what? I think he may have actually tossed this one in as a favor for me. And, you know, to get this amazing piece, you know, he could have sold this online for like $60 or something. It's just that good. And that is just an absolute beauty. I think this is the one that that sold on auction. And I missed out on that one. So when I contacted him, I'm like, hey, can I get one, you know, very similar or one that's identical to that, because I really loved it. Or I may have purchased that one, and I may have purchased the Woodland. One of these were a throw-in. I know that for sure. I'm thinking maybe this one was the actual throw-in. I mean, they're very similar figures. Not 100% identical, which is great because it gives its own little pattern. Color scheme, again, with the black and gray is pretty special. But again, the pattern is far different than you'll find from any of these other figures. And guys, we're at 19 minutes, almost 20 minutes right now. So I don't think I'm going to be able to get all 12 matchups in this video. Again, I don't want this to go anywhere past 30 minutes. So I'm going to try and at least get the duplicates taken care of. And then I'll come back and I'll stay down here, make some more videos with the next set of round 1 or series 1. But absolutely beautiful. Again, I'm going to try and rush through this now because I have to. It's a tough call. I think the one from Derek, I'm going to stick with his version of Jake Roberts to move to round 2. And again, as I said, the Jake Roberts figure as a kid is one I actually had. We didn't have too many Hasbros, maybe somewhere in the neighborhood of 15 figures or so. So, and a good chunk of them does come from, the first series. So you can find a lot of figures that hold a lot of meaning or are pretty special. The third figure from Series 1 is Big Boss Man. Now, another figure I have on my list as least favorite figures, or least favorite Hasbro figures. There's nothing wrong with the figure. It's Digicolor wise, it's absolutely beautiful. It comes with an accessory, which is always special. The only thing that was bad about this, obviously, earlier he was a little bit chunkier, and then he lost a lot of weight. You'll see that in Series 3 with the Part 2 or the second version of Boss Man. So you got this really big body and this very tiny head. Everybody knows that's the biggest shakeup of this figure. But again, design-wise, absolute beauty. Another figure that means a lot to me because we had this as a kid, and this is one of the most played with figures. We never had the accessory. Again, what happens to that stuff? Who knows? It's just the accessories. I think a lot of time really put figures over the edge. I talk about Terry Funk from LJN. To me, it's a very simple figure. Doesn't really hold any special meaning. The pose and all that wasn't all that great. But as soon as I got the branding iron and attach it with the hat, suddenly it went from like a very low tier figure to like more of a upper tier, mid tier figure for me. So it does. So accessories, they do play an important role. This figure. So when I first started collecting Hasbros last year, I think it was maybe November, possibly it had to be like around October, November time frame. I was buying a lot of figures from a seller, and part of that lot included the all black SWAT version of Big Boss Man. So I never knew about this figure. I didn't know if it was some kind of variant to the original, or what the call was, if somebody just customized it, or if this was like a different series. I had no idea. Now, obviously, as time passes, you learn more and more about different series and the different figures and variants and stuff. And it didn't take me long to realize that this was just a regular custom. But the all black was absolutely beautiful. And when he returned, I think when he went to WCW, obviously became Big Bubba Rogers. He may have been wearing that suit at some point as well. When he came back to WWF, same thing. Switched over to this black suited SWAT team member. It looks good. I really like it. But as much as I love the all black design, the whole Digicolor just really blends. And for the sake of this matchup right here, the original does pass the first custom. This one too comes from Derek. And you know what? This may have been Denver who made this one. But I'm going to say Derek for the sake of argument because, again, I don't remember 100%. So again, I always buy these extra accessories. So even the customs, I try to get the accessories for them if I can. So luckily I got the accessory for pretty much every figure that needs it. So we're sticking with the black SWAT team. This vest here does come off if you have to. I never tried removing it. I'm assuming everything is going to be 100% identical to this one underneath. Again, I'm sure you can remove it. I mean, you've got the little opening. I never have because I didn't want to risk damaging this flak vest. Accessories, as I said, they mean so much. They make a world of difference. And for that purpose, I am pushing flak vest Big Boss Man past the original and the only other custom. So far, Derek is actually killing it in this Hasbro tournament. So again, I'm going to put these back in their little display cases. That way get them back on the shelves. So we're at 25 minutes, guys. So far, we've only had 3 matchups. So I'm only going to do 4 matchups this video. And hopefully I'll be able to get the last 8 matchups or whatnot. Not 8 matchups, but last 8 figures and their customs in the second video. So the last one we're looking at for this particular video, again, is going to include Brutus the Barber Beefcake. This is yet another figure I did have as a kid. So we didn't have Million Dollar Man. We did have Jake Roberts. We did have Big Boss Man. We did have Brutus Beefcake. Never had the shears. And, you know, it was a decent figure. I mean, most of these figures were very playable. And things that, you know, as an adult that I don't like are the same things I didn't like as a kid. You know, these whole fused legs. You push the head down. I didn't know what that was all about. Yeah, you're supposed to push it down. Bam, they jump up, tackle the... I didn't like that. The fingers, the way that it was set out like that, hated that because it wasn't really a punch. Now the left hand, I know it's supposed to do some kind of like sleeper hold. We never really used that as a sleeper hold. Again, it's just a punch guy. You know, maybe you do a little slap or something. What you do is kind of like get behind the guy, roll him up, and you kind of like pin the legs like that. So, I mean, the figure does hold its value. Again, Brutus Beefcake, another figure on my list of worst Hasbros. Nothing really wrong with the figure. It's just, you got to choose somebody. And, you know, as an adult, you come to appreciate the figures a whole lot more. But it still doesn't hold my highest esteem. But it's still a good figure. They're Hasbros. All Hasbros are good figures. The first custom, I believe this one did come from Derek. Still struggling to remember his screen name on eBay. If I can find it, I'll put it in the remarks when I post this video. Now this is about the most perfect mint figure you'll ever find. What I love about these customs is you never find an original Brutus Beefcake with perfect glove coloring. That stuff is always faded. You always have massive paint loss. Yeah, for my main collection, I think I do have all my figures as mint as can be, or as one could expect, hope for. So there's a lot of really good things I like about this figure. I do have accessories, which if they can't hold the accessory inside the case, you know, I do put them kind of like at their feet or whatnot. So I like this little mesh opening right here on the side of his pants, and the overall design of the pants, it's not identical 100%, but I always kind of compare it to the LJ and Brutus Beefcake. And that, to me, was always kind of special as well. And, you know, just, again, you look at the glossiness of the figure, it's an absolute beauty. If that was it, those 2 matches, those 2 figures, yeah. You know, Derek would have cleared the board in this tournament so far. But I do have one more custom, and this one, I'm trying to think if I took this off the shelf, or I believe I took this off the shelf. This should be a Robert Jackson figure as well. Again, another figure that I don't memorize or remember this particular color scheme. Got a message, got to clear that out. But it's an absolute beauty. And kind of same thing on here. So when you look at the originals and whatnot, I like that little mesh opening that they have on the side of the pants. It's a little bit more predominant, where on this side, with this figure, you really only have like one opening that you can really see. The one at the boot is kind of blocked by the paint job. But again, with the base of the pants and the color that they use for those little mesh openings, whatnot, much more predominant, real beauty. Now, this is a tough one. To be honest, when I pulled these off the shelf, I thought the Robert Jackson figure might be the one that I would choose, but you really never know until you hold the figures up to the camera and start talking about them. Obviously, the original is not going to win this matchup, so it is going to come down to the two customs. Which one do I like more? I'm going to go with Derek's version. 100%, I honestly thought this was going to be the version I was going to choose. You know, absolute beautiful coloring, but because I kind of like it, because it compares to the LJN version to an extent, I think that's, to me, is what put it over the top. Nothing wrong with it. I absolutely, you know, like I said, Robert Jackson has some of the most elite custom Hasbro figures you'll find. Absolutely love it. And if I had just done originals only, you know, we could have made it through this first series of Hasbro. But because I've got so many customs, you know, these videos obviously gonna take a whole lot longer than I would expect. So that's gonna finish off this video. Sadly enough, only 4 matchups, and they're all original versus custom. I will make another video. I'll keep making other videos until I get tired out. I don't know. So the next matchup, I have a couple Demolition, original versus custom. I've got an Ultimate Warrior with 2 customs. And from there, the last 4 figures, I just have original. So those will be normal one-on-one competitions. Hopefully this does draw in some viewers. I really wish I had more to offer in this video, but hopefully you guys will enjoy it. And like I said, guys, in the past, I'm always trying to get my videos to 100 views prior to posting the next video. So if I post a video today, for example, and by tomorrow I got 100 views, yeah, I'll keep posting a new video every day. Otherwise, it'll probably be every 3 days. Now, if I do post this in 2023, I'm gonna try and stay clear from that. Meaning, I don't necessarily want to wait every 3 days, because a lot of times I'm dying to get these figures, these videos out, but and just you gotta be patient sometimes. All right, everybody. Once again, thank you so much for watching. As always. If you have any questions or any comments, definitely leave it below. I'd love to hear from you guys, and I will respond as quickly as I can. Thanks again, and I will talk to you later. And goodbye for now.